In this video, I'm going to walk you through lesson 7 of unit 7.1 from OpenSciEn. All right, so we're starting a new lesson set. We just took the mid-unit transfer task with the elephant toothpaste, and now we're going to go into the next lesson set, and the question is, how can a new substance be made that wasn't there before? Okay, we start off this lesson by reviewing all of the science ideas we've learned so far with our progress trackers. Here's the slide that will help you do this. It's suggesting you get in a scientist circle, and we share some ideas that we figured out. Now, this is going to come back in a moment as we create a new type of consensus model. So this is just revisiting the ideas, having them flip through their notebooks and kind of seeing what big ideas did we figure out about how we can make something new that was not there before. And then we're going to revisit our initial consensus model. Our initial consensus model looks like this, and we put some ideas in the center that we weren't too sure about. Is it reacting? Is it breaking apart? Are there interactions? So we're really trying to still figure this out, but we did come up with some ideas that we just reviewed. This is also going to bring up the idea that we modeled particles with these little dots or these little circles, and we use different colors for different types of substances. Okay, so now that we've reviewed the ideas and we kind of went over that initial consensus model, we decide to create a new consensus model with a little bit of a different look to it, a new strategy. And so we're going to use an input-output table. So the input-output table looks like this. And this is what it will look like when you are done with the review of the different lessons. You can see the different lessons are color-coded right here. And we've got the red is lesson 2, where we learned that the mass of a solid and the mass of the liquid, the mass before equals the mass after. And then in lesson 3, we learned these blue ideas right here. And that's that some solids dissolve in water. And that we found when we mixed them together and when we were, after the mix together, the outputs, some of the stuff was still dissolved in water. In lesson 4 is the purple, that we figured out that the substances that make bubbles are baking soda and citric acid. And we learned that there's a new substance being made that was not there before because there was not gas here before, and that was made. And in lesson 5, you're going to see this green idea where we've narrowed down the gases to be argon, nitrogen, and/or carbon dioxide. We're not quite sure, but it definitely can be one of these from our density and flammability tests. Okay, there is a reference right here that kind of walks you through each of the steps. This is what the lesson question was and what we figured out. So just kind of a reference of what you add to the table when you ask those questions there, review those ideas from each lesson. And then we're going to look back at that consensus model and talk about those particles that we referenced with those little dots and different colors for different substances. And we're going to finish the consensus model that we're starting with the input-output table by adding some of those particles like we did in that first one to this model as well. And so you're going to have a zoom in bubble, and we're going to use this key for citric acid and baking soda is what makes up the solid. You're going to see the water is a liquid. And so we're representing these ideas at the particle level. But what we still don't know is how to represent what's dissolved in water. We're not sure, do these break apart? We're not sure how to represent, are they green? Are they yellow? We're not sure about that. We know it breaks into smaller pieces, but we don't know how. And then also, what is this gas? We're not sure. Is it argon, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, or a mixture of them? So we've got some questions here still to figure out. And this is how we're going to kind of re-anchor our second lesson set back into our anchoring phenomenon. We still have questions that we need to figure out. Okay, so here's what we still haven't figured out, the question marks on that consensus table. And then we end lesson 7 with a stop and jot, a moment to reflect on what might be happening at the particle level to help us explain how new substances form. So those question marks here, they're going to jot some ideas down, and here is the slide that will help students write this down, and this is going to navigate us into the next lesson. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about material prep in the next video.